deliver the District Governor's address. So please help me welcome Erich Viedge. I'm the District Governor, and I get 2 chances to talk to you guys, and just before I was elected last year, I had a campaign poster made. So I sent out my campaign poster to my club president, Adele Durant, and she said, "This is very nice, Erich, but how does it help me get a CC?" That was a good point, actually, Adele. And I thought, she's actually asking 2 questions there. She's asking, firstly, how do I get a CC as Adele Durant? But also, she's my club president. She's saying, how do I get a CC for the club? And then I thought, that's an interesting point, because what she's saying, actually, is that a CC is, for her, the minimum unit of success for a Toastmasters club. Like, that's the minimum. Our job is to produce CCs. That's what she's saying to me, essentially. And if you get elected, how are you going to help me get CCs? Out of my club, out of me? And also she's saying, I want a CC, which is interesting because she's a club president, right? And I started this year and I wanted a DTM. And I still haven't finished my AC goals. Because, sometimes we just need a little bit of a nudge, don't we? And I don't know about you, but I'm the district governor, and people don't nudge me very often. My VP doesn't phone me up and say, "Listen, Mr. District Governor, you haven't spoken in a while, or if you haven't been telling me about it. What manual are you working on? Can I help you? Are you looking for speech topics? What can I do for you? You promised us a DTM for our club. Where are you?" So, and I thought about this as the minimum unit of success for a club. And then a friend of mine who's a co-parent at the school, actually, his name is Clint Tamim, and he joined 4th Dimension Toastmasters. And you think back if you can, for some of us it's a little bit longer ago than others, but think back if you can to your first Toastmasters meeting. And you walk in there, and there's somebody, and they're speaking, and they're doing a thing called a CC1. And they are fantastic. And you go to the recess, and you say to somebody, "One day, I want to be able to speak like that." And the VPE says, "Yeah, that day is in 2 weeks' time. It'll be great." They don't think, "I'm going to join Toastmasters, I'm going to become an inspirational speaker. No. What Clint said was, "I'm very good in front of people I know." This is a very common thing. I'm joining Toastmasters because I'm good with known audiences. I'm not so good with people I don't know, i.e. all his new clients. So he says he goes to see a board of a big financial services company, and there are 8 people there, and he's never met them before, and he doesn't know what to say. So all people do when they walk into our Toastmasters clubs, this is the irony, they walk in and all they want is to be able to speak like a CC1. But what my club president wants is a CC. And if you think back to a CC, what is the CC10? It's inspire your audience. We are in the inspiration business on a continent that really needs inspiration. That's what we do. We produce inspirational speakers. That's our job. And so I did a bit of arithmetic. I was saying to Fran earlier, arithmetic is your friend. And I multiplied 130 by 6, and I get perilously close to 1,000. If we are producing 4 CCs, 2 CCs plus 2 CCs plus 2 ACs, 1 AC and 1 AC, if we're getting those points in our DCP, we are producing 1,000 inspirational speakers a year as an organization. That's what it means to run a distinguished club. That's what it means. On a continent that needs inspiration. I said this to my wife. I said, "A good line, eh?" She says, "Yes." She says, "This continent needs." You have to talk to your wife. Ask Craig Valentine. Craig. Are you going to tell that story, or shall I? Are you going to tell this story? Oh. Craig will tell you the story about his wife. I will tell you the story about my wife. And she said, "We need fewer dictators and more leaders. We need fewer Mugabes and more Mandelas." Isn't that the truth? And so there's some more arithmetic. Do you know what the population is of District 74? If you take all 9 countries together, do you know what it is? It's 110 million people. Do you know what the population is of the United States? 330 million people. Our region, District 74, is about a third of the population of the United States. Do you know how many clubs there are in the United States? There's something like 11,000 clubs in the US. So our district should have a third of 11,000. That's hard for me. A third of 12. 4,000 clubs. 4,000 clubs. We've got 130. I think we're punching slightly below our weight here. I think we're punching slightly below our weight. And that is why our district vision is in 5 years to get to 250 clubs. Because if we get to 250 clubs, in whatever language, if we get into 250 clubs, if we can start one more club in Bloemfontein, please. If we can start some more clubs in Soweto. If we can start clubs in Nelspruit. There are no clubs in Nelspruit. There's no club in Witbank. There's no club in Amanzimtoti. Biddy says she wants to start a club in Richards Bay. Francis is working on a corporate club there. There'll be 2 clubs in Richards Bay at least. We need a club in Belito, wouldn't that be nice? There's no club in Scottburgh. This is crazy. I mean, Scottburgh is full of retired people, right? They're looking for cheap thrills, aren't they? My mother lives there. I know what it's like. In the evenings in Scottburgh, I know what it's like. I know what it's like. So we're in the inspiration business, and the number one thing we can do to really achieve our potential is run a distinguished club, is be the inspirational leaders that we need to be to run a distinguished club. And what I've learned in starting clubs, we're starting about a club a month at the moment. That's what we're doing. We're starting about a club a month. We're growing like crazy. And what I've noticed is really quite funny. I was at Nestle the other day, and we're starting a club there. There's a guy called Lloyd DeRye, fabulous chap from West Rand. And you know, he's got this tiger by the tail. There's a club starting all around him. Well, what happened was Nestle said, we want a club. They called me in. I ran a demo meeting with 30 people. 20 people joined. Lloyd DeRye's in the room, and his eyes just got wider and wider. He says, I'm going to have to mentor this club. I said, yes, Lloyd. He doesn't realize how much he has to offer. He doesn't realize. He's been a Toastmaster for a long time. We don't realize how much we have to offer as Toastmasters. We don't realize how much we've learned about diffusing conflict, about nudging people towards where they want to be, about helping people be their best selves, about getting Clint Tamine into the Fourth Dimension meeting, and he's looking at the CC1 and saying, I want to be like that, and turning him, without his knowledge even, into an inspirational speaker where he can go to the board of a financial services organization, present his company, and win the contract. We don't realize how much we have to offer. You don't realize how much you have to offer. And if you want to realize how much you have to offer, go to the first meeting, go to a demo meeting of a club. Go to an early meeting of a club where there's 6 people on the program and they're all doing a CC1. And you will see how much you have to offer. You will see. And so that's what I learned from Adele Durant when she said, look, how's this going to help me get a CC? And I was very fortunate because I'm following people who've come before me. People say, are these all your medals? And I say, no, these are the giants on whose shoulders I'm standing. And if we start running these distinguished clubs, we will then be a distinguished district. Because people think that the district governor is the distinguished district. The district governor's got nothing to do with it. I've got a little bit to do with it because I'm a VPM of my own club. So I have got some influence around some of the goals in my own club. But the district is not me. The district is you. And Ted Corcoran was saying, and he'll say it again, I'm sure, but we have been distinguished before. You'll see our badge on the banner. And I'd like the team responsible for that badge, please, to stand up. Our District Governor, Rob Douglas. Our Lieutenant Governor, Education and Training, Karen House. And our Lieutenant Governor, Marketing, Francois Rousseau. Please stand up and give them a round of applause. They were the inspirational leaders that helped us start, again, almost a club a month last year, that helped nearly half of our clubs be distinguished, so that we were distinguished for the first time in 6 years. It's the first time. We've been distinguished before, but we've never done it 3 years in a row. Never done it 3 years in a row. And you know, this year, if we do the 77 CCs that are still outstanding and the 10 ACs that are still outstanding. That's all. We're about 2/3 of the way there already. If we just get those clubs paid up, we're actually drowning in club demo meetings at the moment. We've got some in May in Johannesburg. We've got one in Palaboa at the end of May. We've got Richards Bay coming up. We are drowning. We've got Nestle. We are drowning in new clubs at the moment. It's wonderful. If we do that, we will be distinguished for the 2nd year in a row. And it's pretty much done. And then all we have to do is do what we do best and produce inspirational speakers. And then we will get an Excellence in Leadership award. And it won't be us, it'll be you. But I've been very fortunate because I've followed these teams. I've followed Rob Douglas's team. And I've also had mentors, past district governors, on whose shoulders I've been standing. And I'd like to recognize one person here. You know, in Toastmasters, you're not supposed to do the job for more than 1 year. So it's one year, and that's your job, you've done it. But some people didn't get that memo. This woman, not only is she a past district governor of Toastmasters, but she's a past district governor of Rotary. Can anybody spell overachievement? She's currently running the TLI of Rotary. And she got 10 educational awards in the last year. 10. She's practically district on her own. That's astonishing, isn't it? She's a past international director. You know, she didn't get past international director just like that. She had to go for it 3 times. But when Beth Thomas says, I'm going to do something, she does it. And so, Beth, that's what you've taught me. Where are you? Please come and be recognized. There are very few privileges in this job. You know, the one privilege is you get your own room at the Maxicon. And one of the other privileges is you can get to really recognize your mentors, recognize people who have been there through, I mean, Beth's been around for 10 years, longer, and really helped build this district, and she continues to be a tower of strength to many of us. We were in the United States, and everybody wants to know who we are, you know. 74, where's that? And you have to explain there are 9 countries in Southern Africa. And so, oh, South Africa? No, there are 9 countries in Southern Africa. There's all 9 of us. And so, and what really struck me is whenever I went anywhere, in particular our international president, Michael Notaro, he said a phrase to me which really struck me. He said, I look forward to your success. I don't know how many times he says that. But I decided to take him at his word. And I think he does look forward to our success. But you know, if we do this, we can change the world. Can you imagine if we had more people in South Africa who knew the power of words, because words do have power. If we had more people who measured what they said, if we had more people who took an evaluation approach rather than an aggressive approach. Can you imagine the difference we could make in this continent? And we can, you know. This is where it begins. My favorite quote is from a person called Margaret Mead. She's an anthropologist, and she said, never doubt the ability of a small group of people, a small group of committed people to change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that can. And I read that quote and I thought, rubbish, man. Rubbish. And then I tried to think of anything that had changed the world that had not been led by a small group of committed people. And I couldn't think of anything. People say, what about natural disasters? I said, sure. But who does the rescuing? It's a small group of committed people. It's people at Red Cross. It's people get together and they just get together and they change the world. And here I am standing in front of a small group, 160, 170 people, of committed people, because you're here, right? It's a working day. I don't know if you noticed that. The rest of the country is keeping the economy going and we're here. So we're a small group of committed people, and you know, I truly believe if we run more distinguished clubs, we will produce more inspirational leaders, we will produce more inspirational speakers. If we start more Toastmasters clubs, we will spread this message. And we, ladies and gentlemen, can change the world. Mr. Deitcher.